as long as we've got the people staying here, we're going to need housing. We're going to need more retail facilities. I've seen in the past 5-6 years, so many of our younger people have stepped up and opened up some businesses downtown.
Right.
They're filling up these
Empty.
old, empty buildings, and my hat's off to them. I really appreciate it. The city operates on sales tax only. That's where the biggest part of their money comes from.
Right. All right, welcome to the Henryettan studio today. And today, my friends, I'm sitting down with Mr. Brun Jones and the former owner of the Henryettan, actually. And
Thank you.
It's fun for us to have him here. And we're going to talk a little bit about the history of Henryetta since we have the birthday. We'll go from there, and I'm going to leave the table to you, and you can talk. And we both never had any problem talking, so let's
none at all.
Let's talk.
Kjell, I appreciate it. Beautiful studio here, by the way. It's the first time I've been out here. I love it. I mean, I'm envious. As he said, Henryetta is coming up with, or actually, today is the 125th anniversary of the founding of Henrietta's name. Now, the name is the deal, because prior to this, Henryetta was known just as Furs. It had a couple other little names, but we didn't even have a post office. And that's covered. I've done 17 little short snippets on Henryetta history. They're all on a video, and we'll talk about that later, but just on the history of Henryetta and why we're doing this. Again, the post office actually was established here in 1900, and they come up with the name. And I love to tell this story because everyone says it's Hugh Henry and his wife. No, it wasn't. A bunch of the early guys, you had O.G. Meacham, Lake Moore, Henry Beard, and a bunch of them were sitting around talking, and they came up with the idea, well, we'll just name it after Henry and his wife Etta. That's covered in these videos. So thereby we have Henryetta. The videos themselves are like 17 minutes long, the longest. It covers basically a lot of the Henryetta history, primarily the early days, because so much of that is being forgotten.
Right.
You know, I got to realizing a couple of years ago that we're losing so much of our history here. The older folks are they're either dying off or they're not telling the stories. So the young people need to know their history, know where you come from. You know,
Yeah.
it's honor the past.
Yeah, that's something my age, your age, that we went through in school. I mean, if we didn't know the history of our country, we wouldn't graduate. I mean, that was basically.
You bet.
And I don't know how they do that in schools today, but it's like you're right, absolutely right there. It needs to be impregnated in the kids in school and high school and college and all that.
But like I said, I've done 17 different little videos. They cover everything from the first post office. We talk coal mining. We talk Hugh Henry, and that's quite an interesting individual. The theaters, we had two guys that were really big in that, Barclay Morgan and Charles Blaine. They were big people in town. But we're talking about people like Peter Potter.
Who was he?
Yeah. No one knows except he was born here in 1900. He wound up going out west, making a big name for himself in the early days of television as well as film.
All right.
And, here's a guy no one knew. Now, let's do some more research into this. I found out the other day that we had a country western singer from here that no one ever told me about, but he made top 10 charts. He has since passed on, just Alice Ghostly from Henryetta. Everyone knows Troy Aikman. Everyone knows Jim Shoulders.
Yeah, that's an amazing part to me, that this little town has created so many high-profile, actors and in sports,
Yes.
and the rodeo.
Jim Shoulders himself was
Yeah.
just a major deal.
He was a character.
Actually, he's a relative of his. Norma was a big rodeo performer back in the day. No one's heard of her, except unless you've been in the rodeo circuit. These are the things we talk about. Labor Day. Oh, man, Labor Day coming up this weekend.
Right.
That's the oldest and biggest Labor Day celebration in Oklahoma.
Right.
We've been doing it here. I found out they had one in 1906. That's
Yeah.
a year before statehood.
Right. That's going on 900 years. Oh,
Yeah.
120 years.
We've had that going for all these years. There's so much history here. The coal mine history is just immense.
Right.
That's what started this. I've got one of the videos features it. In fact, I've even got the mine maps that show where the underground mines were, and you can see where they sit in Henryetta.
Right.
We're undershot with those.
Isn't that, somebody said that some of the mines are actually kind of almost underneath the city?
No, they all are.
They all are.
Most of them.
Right. Within the city.
There's one group of mines, a Crow Coal Company operated. Their mine shafts start at about 5th Street and go down from Main Street back to Corporation and all the way out to 17th.
Yeah.
In fact, one of our schools, Irving School, had to be rebuilt in 1921 because one of the shafts collapsed under it.
Right.
I mean,
And the production of coal was pretty sizable, was it?
oh yes, yes.
I read somewhere that they produced, was it 600 tons and 600,000 tons,
600,000,
or something like that.
Yeah, it was a major deal. The coal miners here are the ones that actually founded Henryetta. I've got to tip my hat to them. I've got family members who were coal miners,
Right.
and I've seen what the stuff they had to work with. Oh my God, there's no way I'd do it. But then you had people our age that actually were dying of black lung, but then they had the kids that were 16, 14, 12 years old going down in those mines doing that work. So this was a rough, tough place at one time.
Right. But looking at Henryetta, there's been almost like a come together and been fighting to maintain the community.
Henryetta is much like a lot of rural communities over the years. We depended on industry back in the day to be a major player here, and we've lost it. Some other towns have lost it. Let's face it, putting in the highways, convenient, but they didn't help us. At one time, it was a full day trip to go to Tulsa and back. You went up there if you had business.
Right.
Nowadays, Kjell, let's just go up and have lunch there at Cracker Barrel, give them a plug, and come back afternoon, and we'll do our work in the morning, go to Tulsa at noon, and come back and do our work in the afternoon. Well, that was unheard of.
Right.
And it's made it so easy now. The business community in town is doing as good as it can. We've got new stores that are open. I salute every one of them. In the olden days, you had the individuals, they started their own business. Most of them lived above the stores.
Right.
Well, they've grown old, they've retired, and their kids have gone off and found jobs outside of town. So
Right.
there goes the businesses.
Yeah.
But we're still fighting together. It's a very close community. Do we have problems? Sure we do.
Oh, yeah. All communities do.
But we pull together. I mean, come on, look at Labor Day. That's going to be one of the biggest things going. You're going to see several thousand people up and down Main Street. We're all going to have a lot of fun doing that. It's just, again, it goes back to the history of Henryetta. They've all pulled together. 1950s, we built several little baseball fields. We had groups out here doing improvements. It's just.
Yeah, and then you have, the park up here, the Nichols Park. That was built during the...
that was built in 1939, 38,
during
39,
the recession
40.
area.
It was part of the Civilian Conservation Corps. And there was an old boy that no one really hears about it. I've got one of the videos that deal with it. The name Nichols. Why is it named that?
Right.
It was Congressman Jack Nichols out of Muskogee. He was able to keep funding going after Congress was trying to pull the plug on some of Roosevelt's New Deal programs.
Right.
And he was able to keep it going. The town appreciated it. So they named it the Jack Nichols Park.
Right.
Now, I'm going to be a little editorial on that. There's nothing out there that designates it in his honor.
Right. Wow.
And that's a shame.
Yeah.
That it really is.
I mean, we have the rodeo arena out there. We have,
Yes.
Other people are
It's one of our biggest attractions in the entire area.
right.
We've got a beautiful swim beach out there that used to attract, 300 or 400 a day would come to it.
Right.
As a kid, that was where I lived in the summer. So many of us did it.
Yeah.
already.
Matter of fact, I was out there. Before this little rain started a few days ago, and gathered up some drone footage, and it was probably about 40, 50 people on the beach.
Oh, yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
beautiful.
It's so much, but they're just now starting to realize it in the town. Again, a little editorial opinion on some of this. We've let so much just sit that we haven't taken care of. And I'm hoping that through these history videos that people will gain a little bit of pride in their community. They'll step up and do something.
Right. Yeah, and I think, I have a feeling, Larry and I talked about it the other day, and I have a feeling that there is things that can be done to get this town back and start, instead of having a negative trend on population and other things. When kids go out of high school, they go off to college somewhere and they disappear, and they never really return unless they come back to visit their parents or grandparents or something like that.
Well,
that needs to be changed.
That's kind of a common denominator still, again, with a lot of the rural communities. It's a hard nut to crack. There's no simple answer to it.
Right.
We've got to get more businesses, we need industry close by. We're a bedroom community, believe it or not, to Tulsa.
Right.
And a lot of folks from here, they make that long drive. It's only 45 minutes.
Right.
I've driven it many times. But as long as we've got the people staying here, we're going to need housing. We're going to need more retail facilities. I've seen in the past 5-6 years so many of our younger people have stepped up and opened up some businesses downtown.
Right.
They're filling up these
Empty.
old empty buildings, and my hat's off to them. I really appreciate it. The city operates on sales tax only. That's where the biggest part of their money comes
Right.
from. So, in 2004, the city was getting about $1.9 million every year in sales tax.
When was this, you said?
Back in 2004.
Okay.
And I'm not making up numbers. I can back these up. I've got the sales tax reports.
Right.
We've got it up now to $3 million. You know, prices have gone up. I agree with that. And, you know, the city's still trying to do what they can. You know,
Right.
hats off to every city worker. They know I appreciate them.
Right.
But the retail businesses is what keeps our city going. So we need more of them. Anyone that can come up with an idea to open up a retail business, we'd love it. The Chamber of Commerce is your friend. Everyone knows I work closely with the Chamber and have always done that. I think Jenny down there and all the Chamber members are doing a great job promoting the town. We need to have more members.
Right.
You know.
Don't you think also looking at the growth? I think. At least in my view, I'm an outsider because I only been here for like 10, 11 months, going on a year now. Henryetta is actually a pretty strategic location. You have I-40
location.
I-40. You have 45 minutes an hour to Tulsa. You got 2 hours to Oklahoma City, and you got 75 going down into Texas. You know,
the thing is, everyone says, well, you've got the interstate and the intersection right out here. How come we haven't got businesses growing up through there? Well, you need to look at it closely. Start out here on the west side of town and come take us a drive, critically eyeing everything. Both sides of the interstate up to the turnpike
right.
are in floodplain, or they're unbuildable.
Right.
You've got major hills and everything in the way. We've got a nice strip up through north of town right here that is being developed. We've got a new business going in right up the road. Henryetta owns 30 acres out here at the 238 exit.
Right.
That we bought through HEDA. I was a member in that. And it's designed for retail.
Right.
We've had some nibbles, but still not enough. Casey's coming in was a fantastic. I see that area developing real quick. At the intersection itself, though, you haven't got access to some of the good land right there.
Right, but there is some other land on the south side of I-40, right? I know they were going to go up and bush hog some area there, which is city property or might be
You're
owned.
talking about out the
yeah,
west of town. That's the 30 acres I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
We own that.
And then you had a few acres right up here north of Dewar, right?
Well, we own the property where the old Eagle Pitcher smelter was.
Right.
It closed in 1968 and sat abandoned for a bunch of years. Thank you. Became a Superfund site, and they've cleaned it up. Now, we do have restrictions
Right.
over what we can put in there. No parks or anything like that. Putting the health center in out there was a great deal. Golf and bridge construction, I understand they're doing well.
Right.
You know, here again, it's just, you've got to look at the area, the traffic. There's so many things that go into it that, yeah, we're looking for business. We'd love to have, 10 new businesses walk in here tomorrow. We've had, like I said, some nibbles out here on the west side of town.
Right. Yeah, no, I think that I am positive because I talk a lot to people,
Mm-hmm.
and there is an optimism even among a lot of business owner here. I probably have discussed these things with 20, 30 different businesses in town, and everybody is very optimistic that this will be a good trend. And it's like Larry said, I wouldn't have built the RV park here if I didn't believe the community should expand.
I see an expansion for Henryetta. Are we going to boom all of a sudden? No. You're going to see a slow expansion. You're going to see some businesses open up in some of the holes we have down Main Street.
Right.
You're going to see some close. Yes, that happens. But it takes all of us working together.
Right.
And that's why I put my cheerleader suit on. I'm backing the Chamber of Commerce because they do a lot to promote it. This deal here on our history is going to be promoting the community.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, would really, we get off track a little bit
just
here.
a wee bit.
But it's interesting to discuss these things because I think people are thinking about it, and we need to instill some optimism in the community, and I think there is a lot of things that's going to happen here over the next few years.
There is. I see it coming. We're going to have, like I said, we're going to have businesses come in.
Right. What really motivated you to do this historical thing?
A lot of time on my hands.
Well, maybe you need to come back to work for Henryettan.
No. No, it's. I've always loved history, and
Right.
like I said early on, so many of the older people are dying off. My generation has rapidly become the old generation, and we need to be telling these stories. I firmly believe. Listen to your grandparents.
Right.
Get out there and talk to them. They've got stories to tell.
Right.
I wish I'd listened to more of mine. But I was thinking about it. I love history. Then it dawned on me one day, just got curious, gee, when did Henryetta start? The town actually founded in 1901.
Right.
That was city government. But the post office came in 1900.
Yeah, and that's what
got me on this. Oh, okay, let's find out about it. Before the post office opened up there on Main Street in 1900, they had to go out to Sonora.
Okay.
And that's 4 miles out of town. That was a little community out there. You had Coosa, which was at one time the largest community in the county.
Wow.
Now, go out to Coosa, there's nothing there. It's gone.
Right.
Sonora, you have a cemetery. But here again, this started getting fascinating. Okay, the post office started. Who was responsible? O.G. Meacham.
Right. All right. I'm going to ask you one more question, and then we're going to talk about how people can obtain the package and stuff. Just one question. If viewers walk away with one key issue or one key thing about what you have learned here about Henryetta, what would that be?
I would hope they would learn to be curious, to find out more about the town. We've talked so much about finances for the town. We've talked about the history of the town, some of the people involved.
Right.
Just be curious, get involved.
Right.
Go to the city council meetings, go to the other meetings, go to the school board meetings. Find out what's going on. Facebook's a wonderful little deal. Problem is, not everything on there is true.
Right.
And
you got to be careful.
I can tell you the sky is dark blue today, and someone may get on there and say, no, it's white.
Right.
Well, go outside and look.
Right.
Go
yeah,
look.
Do some research. I call
Exactly.
it. Do some research. That's what I call it.
You know, as far as obtaining these videos, we're putting them on a 16 gig thumb drive.
Right.
And they'll fit on, if you're Mac, your Apple, if you're IBM, it'll work on any one of them. They're in a series, 1 through 17. I think I've said 16 in the past, it's 17.
Right.
But the idea there is you can take these home with you, put them on your computer. It's 2 hours. I cannot believe I spent that much time, because everyone knows I don't like to talk that much.
Right.
We will be down at the Briefcase cruise night, September 27th. Myself, Amber Mordecai, Jill Francis, and a couple others I can rope into it.
Yeah, I think we'll be there too. So.
My sister's going to come in from Oregon just for this, and we're going to be selling them. We're taking pre-orders right now. We'll take them as a Google Doc form that's up there. If anyone wants to find out that, email me, okiejonesy, OKIEJONSEY, @yahoo.com.
All right.
And
We'll stick you up there. We'll stick that on the screen too. Here, Finger.
They can get their link to that Google Doc, or you can come in and pick one up that night.
Right.
I've also got another video that we're going to be playing, and I'm not talking about it right now. I got to have some secrets, but we'll be playing another video up there on their big screen TV that night. Again, deals with Henryetta history.
Right. That's cool. That's cool. I'd be interested to learn.
Well,
some
people
more.
are coming downtown for cruise night anyway.
Right.
And
Yeah, cruise night is a pretty big event in Henryetta, right?
it has developed into a nice thing. I'll be honest, I had a little question here and there, but I've seen what it can develop into, and I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Right.
As long as people treat it with respect, we've got a great thing going.
Right. All right. Is there anything else you want to get out today?
I usually don't talk this much, so I've talked it out pretty
All
well.
right. Okay. You. Thank you for coming in. And,
Yes, sir.
And I hope to see you again on the other side of the seat here.
I
so.
appreciate it.
All
Thanks
right?
for the opportunity.
All right. And we'll see you guys soon again. Thank you for watching.
Bye-bye.